Step into the darkness where reality blurs and nightmares come alive. The sun hung low in the sky as our family set up camp in the heart of the forest, the sounds of laughter and excitement filling the air. It was supposed to be a weekend of bonding and adventure, a chance for us to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and reconnect with nature. Little did we know, our idyllic camping trip would soon become a nightmare beyond our imagination. As darkness fell and the stars began to twinkle overhead, we gathered around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories late into the night. But as the hours passed and fatigue began to set in, a strange sense of unease settled over our campsite, like a dark shadow creeping through the trees. It wasn't until the next morning that we discovered the truth. The forest was home to a pack of feral children who had been raised by wolves. We stumbled upon their den by accident, a hidden enclave nestled deep within the heart of the woods, where they lived in primitive squalor, far removed from the trappings of civilization. At first, we were fascinated by the children, their wild eyes and unkempt appearance a stark contrast to our own civilized upbringing. But as we watched them from a distance, a sense of unease began to gnaw at the edges of our minds, like a whisper of warning carried on the wind. There was something unnatural about the children, something primal and feral that sent a chill down our spines. They moved with an uncanny grace, their movements fluid and predatory, and their eyes gleamed with a hunger that sent a shiver down my spine. As the days passed, we tried to ignore the growing sense of unease that hung over our campsite like a dark cloud. We told ourselves that we were safe, that the children were harmless, but deep down, we knew that we were lying to ourselves. And then, one night, as we sat around the campfire, the children emerged from the shadows, their eyes glowing with a feral light as they watched us with a hunger that sent a chill down my spine. Without a word, they surrounded us, their movements swift and silent as they closed in on our campsite. With a cry of terror, we scrambled to our feet, our hearts pounding in our chests as we realized the true nature of the children who lurked in the shadows of the forest. They were not innocent victims of circumstance, they were predators, cunning and ruthless, and we were their prey. We fled into the forest, our footsteps echoing through the darkness as we raced through the underbrush, desperate to escape the clutches of the feral children who pursued us. But no matter how fast we ran, they were always one step ahead, their primal instincts guiding them through the darkness with uncanny precision. As we stumbled through the forest, our minds reeling with fear and confusion, we realized that there was only one way to escape the nightmare that had engulfed us. We had to confront the feral children head-on and fight for our survival. With a newfound sense of determination, we turned and made our way back to the clearing where we had first encountered the children, our hearts filled with a courage that we never knew we possessed. And as we stepped into the clearing once more, we knew that there was no turning back. We were about to come face to face with the true terror of the forest. The feral children emerged from the shadows, their eyes gleaming with a primal hunger as they closed in on us with a speed and ferocity that sent a chill down my spine. But instead of running, we stood our ground, our hearts filled with a courage that we never knew we possessed. With a cry of defiance, we called out to the children, demanding answers to the questions that had plagued us since we first set foot in the forest. And to our surprise, they answered, a chorus of whispers that filled the clearing with a sound that seemed to echo through the ages. As the children spoke, we learned of their tragic fate. Their parents had abandoned them in the forest as infants, leaving them to fend for themselves in the wild. They had been raised by wolves, their instincts honed to a razor-sharp edge by years of survival in the harsh wilderness. With tears in our eyes, we listened as the children recounted their tale, their voices filled with sorrow and regret. And as they spoke, we realized that we were not so different from them. We were all trapped in our own personal hells, haunted by the ghosts of our pasts and unable to move on until we confronted the demons that tormented us. With a newfound sense of understanding, we reached out to the children, offering them the closure that they so desperately craved. And as we did, the forest seemed to come alive with a soft glow, the darkness retreating into the shadows as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon. As we made our way back to camp, we knew that we had faced our fears and emerged stronger for it. we had confronted the darkness that lurked within the depths of the forest and emerged victorious. And as we packed up our belongings and prepared to leave the forest behind, we knew that we would never forget the lessons we had learned in the wilds of Wildwood.